So the 5N is front heavy, and the weight is shifted towards the left of the body. So keep that in mind when you're holding the camera. So one way to hold it is to take your left hand and put it under the lens, and you just take your right hand and grip the handle of the camera. Now what you can also do is flip out the LCD, and this gives you an extra surface area for your thumb to rest on, and so it gives you more stability this way. And the last thing to do is really to take your elbows and tuck them into your rib cage, and this gives you a very stable base of support. Now from this position, you're ready to pan or tilt or follow action. What you're trying to do here is basically follow a very wide arc as shown in this diagram. And this will give you very, very smooth motion, and it would avoid the clickety sound that you've been hearing on the internet. So the way to do this is to move your entire upper body at the same time. Move your hips and move your legs so that your entire upper body, including the camera, moves in unison. So what you don't want to do is move the camera along its primary axis. This gives you very jerky motion, and it's going to give you that clickety sound that you don't want. You want to pan it like the way I'm showing you right now by moving your entire upper body while holding the camera very stable. 60p is good for action and motion and slow motion effects afterwards. 24p is to give you that film look, and if you have a highly detailed scene. Now 30p is good all-purpose format if you have a lot of motion, if you have a lot of detail. And it's also the standard format for things like YouTube. So if your end output is YouTube, then consider shooting 30p to begin with. In all cases, you should shoot at the highest bitrate possible. Now the first thing you want to do is set it to manual exposure. After all, that is why you bought the 5N. The first thing to set is the shutter speed itself. So now I'm shooting in 60p mode, so I want a shutter speed of 125. Next, you want to set the aperture. Now this is going to depend on what you're shooting. And just imagine as if you're taking a photo, and use your photographic skills to determine the right aperture to set it at. So finally, you want to set the ISO value, and this is to basically make sure that your exposure is proper. Now look at the histogram, look at the exposure compensation values that you're getting, and just get an overall sense of what your exposure needs to be and set the ISO appropriately. One thing to keep in mind is that the 5N has very clean, high ISO values, so don't worry about going up to ISO 1600 or 3200. It's very clean. Now in terms of audio, you do have limited options. You have no audio controls. The internal microphones are stereo, but they're pressure sensitive, and they're omnidirectional, and they're highly sensitive to wind and body noise. Now you can get the ECM SST1, which is the external microphone. Their advantage with this is that it is a better microphone overall. You get better stereo imaging, you get better isolation from the body. So if you're flipping the LCD around, that clickety sound that's been going around the internet, it's going to isolate all of those sounds from your recording. And it's also directional, so it's not going to record sound from all over the camera. It's going to record it from 120 and 90 degrees in front of the camera. So the last advantage is that it is an electret condensed microphone. These microphones require power, and in this case it draws power directly from the camera battery, so no external batteries.